Welcome to the Emotional Endurance Movement, where we chit chat about how we're staying regulated in a very dysregulating world.
Come along with us as we deal with life's messiness.
I'm Laurie Sharp-Page.
And I'm Crimson McDonald. And this week we're talking about
a lot of people will find that even discomfort becomes comforting after a while. It's like this idea of like coping with both the problems and the solutions in our life. Like, I think we often obsess about how we cope or how we deal with the problems, and that is really where our brain is focused, right?
Right.
We often reflect on this. Our brain is just naturally geared up to be more in that problem solving kind of mindset. And because of that, we can get resistant to solutions.
Right.
Just talking about the problem keeps us stuck talking about the problem. And sometimes we're getting, oh, what's the clinical term? Secondary gains. It's the idea that your behavior in some way, even if it is poor, is benefiting you. So a good example from human development is that oftentimes children and youth that engage in high risk behavior are actually actively doing it for attention, because negative attention is better than no attention.
Yep.
Right? So even though their behavior is poor, they're getting some level of secondary gain from it. And I think a lot of us get secondary gain from just staying focused on the problem.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, since we started working together in this space around emotional well-being, workplace well-being, generational cycle breaking, I mean, the list goes on. The problem is discussed ad nauseum. Like, it is, and to be fair, I think there's a gain for people to talk about it. I mean,
it's doing something for them. And sometimes like venting is a great
but I mean, like,
skill, but rarely is it the only thing you need to do.
But I also think that there's a gain from people that are actually profiting off of the stating the problem.
Yeah.
Right? Because people connect to that. Like, there are people that are out on the speaking junket that are only naming the problem and not naming the solution. Maybe the solution you have to pay for. I don't, maybe that's the thing, but at the end of the day, I do think that there's an industry around talking about the problem. And unfortunately, when I try to figure out why we haven't found an industry that solves the problem, think about mental health crisis, right? That became like a huge thing about 15 years ago. Mental health, and now I can't say it's easy to get a therapist, but we have normalized therapy.
There are pathways.
It's been built into the system. Mm-hmm. Your insurance covers it now, and so this is another example of something that there's just no formal pathway to a solution. And I think a lot of people are either hesitant to talk about the reality that the solution is complicated.
And it's also small.
It's also varies. I mean, it's small, but it's hard.
It is. Well, I mean, because ultimately what we're telling people is that we're empowering them to say, you are responsible to do this. Like, you're responsible to figure out the unique way, the unique avenue, the unique thing that makes you tick to do this work, because we all need to stay emotionally regulated so that we can problem solve, because that's the other piece. I mean, humans are problem solvers, I believe, like in our human nature, right? So we are literally like a dog with a bone when we're with the problem, right? Yeah. But the solution part gets complicated because we all have our own agendas and things. Mm-hmm. And most people don't like to move out of a state of comfort to discomfort, right?
Right.
And a lot of people will find that even discomfort becomes comforting after a while.
I am exhausted. I can't shut my brain off. I don't feel equipped to deal with any of this. And the truth is, I don't know how much longer I can keep this up.
If thoughts like that sound familiar, you're not alone. Cope 365 is here to help you stop the spiral. using a simple, gamified approach that shows you how to cope in ways that actually work. You can stop lashing out, shutting down, or just pretending you're fine while you suffer in silence, and instead learn to regulate, recover, and keep going without burning out or losing your relationships or yourself. Cope 365 is here to help you fortify what matters most, your capacity to endure, so that stress doesn't steal your joy, your health, or your future. Go to cope365.com and enter promo code EMM for 30% off of any of our packages.
So we had to take a little break
All right.
because production went down. How do you cope with production?
Right.
You know, the activity of building something in your life, like a video segment.
Right. So what we were saying is it is hilarious how, like, okay, my son comes in. We have this massive, like, we broke. It's not massive, but we have some, like,
we're bootstrapping.
we're bootstrapping. Different words, same meaning. So,
it's true.
So, but we have like a light ring and cameras and what you need at the minimum to
We're
do
equipped.
this. Yeah. I mean,
We're equipped.
we're equipped.
We're
And
equipping.
so, yeah, my son's like, this is ridiculous. Nobody would do this. This is like overproduced. And I'm like, no, we be ghetto. Like, this is not overproduction. And I explained to him, so we watched the YouTube series. It's Ryan Trahan. He's adorable. Talking about emotional endurance. Like, that I call him a kid. He's 27, and I didn't believe it, so I had to like see it on. But anyhow, he's a very kind and compassionate, good role model, to be honest, as a male in today's YouTube culture. But he did 50 states in 50 days. And so I watched it with my kid. It was really fun. Call out. It was great. And I'm like, well, what do you think like happens when he does like these clips? Like when he is standing there reviewing an Airbnb. What do you think is behind that? Like he doesn't have a person with him.
Mm-hmm.
He has a camera stand. Mm-hmm. He most likely has a ring light. He does. And like that's part of like he has all of his equipment. Now he holds his mic and so it's obvious. Yeah. But I think my son really thinks like he whips out his phone, it magically floats above him. He talks into it. He makes a whole bunch of videos and like goes and puts them on CapCut. And like that's a YouTube video. And I'm just like, no. So
there's so much that goes into all the things. And that's why I think coping with production is like something we have to talk about, because it's not just enough to want to do the thing. It's also all the weird, intricate, woven together work that it takes just to do a single thing.
Well, and the fact that you need a well-equipped team, right? Which is part of like what we're talking about.
Thank God there'd be two of us. Like we'd be like,
right.
I don't even know.
Right. And not only that, but like when, you know, let's say your mic equipment all goes out and you realize that after you recorded a whole segment, if both people aren't positive, like able to be resilient in that moment and roll with it, then you're regulating the other person. You're nervous about how they're going to react. Yeah. You're constantly.
It can be really disruptive.
Yeah, it's so disruptive versus like, okay, well, like, how do we move forward?
I got to be honest. Being able to redirect to lunch was helpful.
It was helpful. It was definitely a good strategy in my opinion.
And I'm not saying that Jersey Mike's needs to promo us, but hey, Jersey Mike's.
Yeah, you are.
That sub was.
You are our go-to in our turmoil.
It hit. And it helped me cope with the fact that it was all falling apart. But now we're back.
We are.
And with a new constitution, you know?
And I think that's the thing. That's the resilience part of psychological capital, right? It's like you have to just roll with it. You have to be able to bounce back from it, get back on the horse.
Yeah.
Even if Jersey Mike's is required in between, you do what you got to do. But I think when you think about production teams, and this is, you know, seen it in the development world and technology, And I've always kind of worked in something that required some level of production. And it's a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
even just like, from political days, those janky political events with a janky podium and the flyers, like the banners, like it takes a lot to pull off production.
I know. And then sometimes when you win, I mean, this doesn't happen a lot anyway, but there's confetti,
there's sometimes, I mean, not for me often, but yeah,
that's what
but
I was
I
trying
think
to allude to is like, that's, that would be an example of something good happened that then you'd have to figure out how to integrate the confetti.
Oh,
It'd be another
yes.
thing, right?
Right.
Would you have any number of things into that? All that to say, like, creating anything in life is messy, right?
I think that's what anyone that does production style work, it is. I mean, whether it's development, I remember like in grad school doing statistical modeling, like you would like wait 5 hours and find out you forgot like one thing and like a M dash.
I just, when you say statistical modeling, it does something.
Did you tune out?
Yeah, like my brain was just like, no.
But there are people out there that do the really hard, tedious production work. I mean, this is like a different form of production.
Yep.
At the end of the day, like,
yeah, this is different than.
And then there's the people that have to like organize the producers, and that's like, it's hard work. We're there. We see you.
Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the Emotional Endurance Movement. Make sure to like and follow us for more great coping and emotional endurance content. And remember, you're not alone. We'd love to hear from you. Check out the show notes and let us know how you're coping, what you're coping with, and how we can support you.